Hi there everyone. Firstly, thank you for those that have already inputted all of their data onto Mark. I just want to go through a couple of misconceptions or a few things which I've noticed when checking data. So I'll start with just inputting the data. So when you log in, this page will pop up and you then select the test. But if you click on the test that your pupils have just sat, it will then give you a list. If you click on Mark Sheets, and then you select the year. What I've noticed is people are absolutely fine when putting in the correct year groups. For instance, if year 3 pupils have sat year 3 test, that doesn't seem to be an issue. However, if your SEM pupils have sat a lower paper, this is what you do. Okay, so if I take Tyler and Amar from my class, for instance, okay, they sat the year 1 paper, so select year, I select the year of the paper they sat, so I select year 1. I then select the paper, which is a summer paper, and you have an option here. You can either select your own class or you can select year group if you're checking the whole year group's data or inputting the data. So I'll go down to OWLs, okay, then click Mark and Gap Analysis, and then what will happen is you get the list of all of your children in your class, but what you then do is go on to the set child. So for instance, Jacob Nolan here, you can see he's got 2 tests. That's because he also set the same test back last. Oh, that was when we baselined them. So when we baseline them just before Christmas. So that's absolutely fine if that's the case, because it shows us the 2 dates. And then you just put in the 0s and 1s. Once you put the 0s and 1s in, and you go on to the next child, it should just stay like that. If the whole row is highlighted orange, it means there is a mark missing. So it means that there is a 0 or a 1 missing. So do check that. Otherwise the data won't be inputted correctly. So that's inputting the data. If I go back onto the main menu, once the data is inputted, you can then pick from a selection of reports. So let me show you. If you use gaps again, if you go onto reports this time, okay, and then it says select the paper. So you select the paper that your children have just sat. So if we look at year 4 summer, you can then either look at your individual class performance, or you can look at the whole group. Okay, so I'm going to look at the whole year 4 group. The academic year, just pop in the current year, so you don't get the previous cohorts data come up, and then click down here. Okay, and then it will generate the report for you. This is my favourite report out of all of them, because you've got your traffic light system here, so it will break down for you. So you've got your scale score. So usually 96 or plus, your class is green. Okay, so class is working at. So it will give you their scale score. What we'll also do is say their raw score here, and also gives them an average age. So that's an actual age at test, and that will say and then that will say their current working age based on how they performed. Okay, so for instance, Megan Ballard, if you look at this, it's saying that she's working below expected standard for her age. It also breaks down the scores here, and then if you scroll right down, I've just realised actually what I've got here is a mixture of year 4 and 5 data. So I'll go back and check that, just make sure I selected just year 4. I think we've got 4 and 5. And then it will give you the breakdown, so it'll give you the pie chart of percentage working at, percentages working at greater depth, okay, and then the performance strands, and it will tell you how they performed and the areas of weakness. These lines here gives you a national average, so it will tell you how close or how far off you are from national average. So have a play around with that. If you get a child where it says NA, okay, that means data wasn't inputted correctly, or they didn't set the test. If that child didn't sit the test, what we then need to do, so I'll have to then go back and do this, is put zeros in. So Mia Jane, for instance, sat the year 1 test. So what we need to do is go back into the mark sheet and just put zeros across for the year 4 paper so that it gives us an accurate percentage. So when you do check, what you don't want to see is any NAs. If there is an NA, go back and just populate with zeros. Or if a child hasn't taken the test, please make sure within the next week or so that you pick that up so that every child has taken the test. Any more questions, please feel free to ask me. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks everyone.